I would like to do a meditation now that is, for some people, going to be very, very destabilizing. And if you find it too destabilizing, just open your eyes. The eyes are really good at keeping us, getting us back into the delusion of a separate self. I am here, that house is there. So you can just open your eyes at any point if you need it. At the end of the meditation, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and look at your hands. And obviously, when we do that, I would like for you to see if you can stay in that meditative state and still follow the instructions. And if your eyes pull you back into reality, then just get back to your breathing and get back into my voice, and then we continue with the meditation. So make yourself comfortable. Just make sure that all of you are muted. You are beautiful. So good to see all of you. Okay, make yourself comfortable and close your eyes and make a deep inhalation and exhale, and feel how you fall into gravity with the exhalation. Inhale again and exhale, and feel how your body completely relaxes and you feel the heaviness. Make another inhalation. Exhale and feel how you fall into gravity and you're very, very present and heavy in your body right now. Make a few more deep breaths. And then I would like for you to let go of your breath and just allow the breath to take care of itself. So you have a breath as if you're sleeping, where there's no special focus on inhalation and no particular focus on exhalation. The breath is just taking care of itself. But feel how your body is getting more and more heavy. The more you let go of the mind and you pull your awareness into the body and to how it actually feels to be in a body, the more heavy you get. So you're really, really heavy in the seat. And see if you can pull your attention towards your feet. And when I say pull attention to your feet, notice what is happening in your mind. Do you see a mental picture of your feet? Or do you have a thought about where the feet are? Any kind of connection your mind is doing right now, see if you can detach that and just be in this space here, where somewhere out there is what we used to call feet. Very quickly you will feel that if you keep detaching your mind, you don't have any feet anymore. There might be a buzzing sensation somewhere in the area where you think your feet are. But if you stop thinking about it, just notice what is happening in your direct experience. You can feel a buzzing sensation, a tingling sensation. You might feel pressure from what you perceive to be the floor, or perceive to be shoes or socks. But again, if you detach that thought and just notice the tingling sensation that is happening somewhere. The more you focus on that, Do you also feel that the length of your legs and the end point where your feet are supposed to be, that they're not in the same position? Which is super odd. If you were to stand up, you would not have uneven length of legs. Well, you might have, but not this much as you feel right now. So in your direct experience, how do you know the length of your legs? And how do you know that the feet are at the end of your legs? In your direct experience, when you completely detach thought and just stay with the sensory experience, is there any way you know that the torso is connected to the legs that are connected to the feet? In your direct experience, is there anything that is connecting your feet with the legs and the torso? Or is it just sensory experience happening? And if you detach the thought about any relation with the sensory experience, can you even define where that sensory experience is taking place? And without moving your hands, I would like for you to make contact with your hands. How do you even know where your hands are? In your direct experience, are the hands even connected to the arms, and are the arms connected to the torso? Without having any mental image of your hands and where your hands are located, without a thought telling you that, are there any hands at all? Is there any difference between the sensory experience of where you would say your hands are and where your feet are? Is it just sensations floating? And I would like for you to make contact with your torso. It can be you have a tension in the torso. It can be you have a rumbly stomach. It can be you can feel your heartbeat or your breath. But do the same thing again. If you detach any thought and you just sit with the sensory experience, where's the breath actually going when you inhale? So if you notice your inhalation and you detach all thought to a torso or lungs or oxygen exchange, right? And all of that, just detach all of that. In your direct experience right now, where's the inhalation actually going? Is there any connection with the inhalation and the exhalation? See if you can notice where the inhalation happen. Where's that happening? You might say your nose. Let's just for now say that you do have a nose. And you inhale. Then where does it go? In your direct experience, if you can't have a thought describing the lungs, and it's just in your direct experience, then what do you actually know? And sit for a moment and notice how it is to not have the body. Because with your eyes closed, your body can only be a thought. The meat suit is only a thought. In your direct experience with closed eyes, what do you actually know is there? And is any of it actually connected? Does it feel like you're just a head floating? If it does, I would like for you to question that too. How do you know there's a head? In your direct experience right now, how do you know there is anything but sensation? And if you can only define how your head looks by what you actually feel, do you see that if you were to draw how it feels like you look, it would look nothing like how you think you look in a mirror. But that is relying a lot on the eyes. So your eyes are perceiving something completely different than what your nervous system is picking up. How do you know which one of them is actually true? In your direct experience, do you know anything but what your senses are picking up right now? So does that mean that when you open your eyes, that is something completely different? Or is your eyes just giving you a different experience? Is both true? If there's nothing holding in the sensory experiences you're having, and it feels like it's just free floating in space, and it's only when you open your eyes and look in a mirror that you get any kind of indication of all those free floating senses being in a meat suit. Why is that experience more real than what your sensory experiences are telling you. And while we're at it, in your direct experience, if you cannot attach any thought to it, how do you know you were ever born? How do you know that there was a beginning at some point? You don't remember it, so you've been told. You've been told a lot of things that you found out wasn't true. Why do you think this one is one of the ones that are true? If it wasn't written down anywhere, how would you know you were ever born? How would you know what is your birthday? And what does that even mean? How much of what you perceive to be true do you actually know to be true? Is there anything in your direct experience that you know with 100% certainty to be true? Even your own existence? Or is that just a thought? So if you don't know anything to be 100% true with absolute certainty, what are you fighting for in a discussion? Who is it you are defending? What belief is it you're protecting? The sensory experience you had right now, can anyone say that that is not real or not true or you didn't experience that? Can you say that about anyone else who's here? And how do you know that what you experienced is more right or more true than anyone else? And see when we continue with the question shortly, if you can keep this sense of openness, of the 10 feather not knowing, if you can keep that, that whatever anybody says, it's absolutely true for them. Whatever experience anyone has, it's absolutely true for them. How do you know what is true for you? Can you, with any kind of certainty, know anything? Your feet just disappeared. You're questioning if you were even born. How do you know anything with certainty? In a moment, I would like for you to Stretch your hands out in front of you. And then I would like for you to open your eyes and look at your hands. But I would like for you to stay here in this space you are in now. And if you need to go back to closing your eyes to get back into it, then you just do that. So I would like for you, first of all, to imagine how your hands look. Imagine that you take your hands out in front of you, and you imagine that you open your eyes and you look at your hands. Do you know how they look? And in a moment, you're going to experience something really, really strange. You are going to take your hands out and you are going to look at your hands. And in the beginning, your hands will look like you just imagined. But I'm going to ask you to keep looking at your hands. And then you're going to experience the weirdest thing, that your hands change. You're going to see things that you haven't noticed. Your hands are going to change in size and in depth, in thickness, in length, because you're going to see what actually is there and not what you think is there. Right now, when you think of your hands, in your mind's eye, that is the projection that your eyes is going to put on your hands. So at first, when you look at your hands, they're going to look exactly like in your mind's eye, because you're actually not looking, you're recognizing. But we're going to continue looking at your hands until you see through the recognition and actually see your hands. So keep having your eyes closed, put your hands out in front of you. And when you open your eyes shortly, you're going to see a recognition of your hands. Keep looking at your hands, and then you will feel how your eyes change to you actually suddenly look at your hands, and they're going to look very, very different. Okay, so slowly open your eyes, look at your hands. What you see now is just a recognition of your hands. Keep looking at your hand. Take like your right hand. Look at your right hand. And the more you really, really look at it, your skin texture is changing. The color of your skin is changing. You might begin to see blue and green and purple, other colors. You will see different shadows. You can see the pores. Your hand is looking completely different. Now look at your fingers. Again, when you move your gaze, first you're going to see a recognition of your fingers. If you keep looking, suddenly you're actually going to see what you're looking at. Your fingers will change. You will see more wrinkles. You might see spots or dots. You will suddenly see details that you didn't see before. That is because now you actually see. You don't recognize anymore. Okay, take the left hand up next to the right hand and see if you can relax in your gaze. So you don't look specifically at one hand, but you kind of take both hands into your visual field. And you hold your hand still. And without moving your hands at all, and without moving your fingers at all, how do you know they're connected to anything? If you do not attach a thought, do you see it's just hands and lower arm that is floating in space? How do you know they're actually attached to anything? And if you do not move the fingers, how do you know this is your hand? And if you say, but I'm looking at my hands, okay, then ask into that. Who is looking? Where's the looking happening? You might say in my head. Okay, follow it. Where's the looking actually taking place? You might say, my eyes are looking. But actually, your eyes are not. Your brain is. How do you know you actually have a brain? In your direct experience right now. We're back to questioning what you actually know versus what you think you know. Okay, close your eyes again. And if you close your eyes and just sit and you go back to breathing, you just look at your hands. In your sensory experience right now, does your hands feel anything like what they looked? In your sensory experience right now, is there anything left that feels like your eyes told that your hands actually looked? So how do you know which sense to trust? In your direct experience right now, are your hands actually connected to anything? Or are they just sensory experiences floating around? Okay. Move your feet a bit. Move your legs. Bend your fingers. Move your arms. Move your entire body. Make a deep inhalation. And exhale. Breathe in again. Exhale and slowly open your eyes when you're ready. So the takeaway from this is to question everything. Whatever you perceive as truth or reality, come back to that space and ask yourself, are you sure? This huge thing that is occurring in traffic when somebody is cutting you cutting you off in traffic. Are you sure that is such a big thing? Or did you just get startled? Question everything.